It's insanity, Chris.
What kind of world do we live in?
I don't know. I think we're going to find a little bit more about the world that we live in when we start talking about Spider-Man.
Oh, Lord.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And we know you're here for that Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. We know it.
Maybe.
I know it. You know it. Everyone's listening for that, for our breakdown of this trailer, Mike. It's gonna be It's gonna be the talk of the week. At least until next week. Also, people probably want to know about this Joss Whedon Batgirl movie that was announced. Of that.
I want to know about it.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere. We've got some Marvel Cinematic Universe news arriving in this week due to Cinemacon and more. So I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't have the energy this week to record to be up there, Mike.
You have gone through some turmoil this week for sure, and it started very at the beginning. Was it Monday? I think is when the incident happened, as they might refer to it in a Marvel Netflix show. The incident.
Do you mean with the drone?
Yeah,
because that was Thursday.
The drone, man. Oh man, it seemed like it happened at the beginning of the week, but that's bad news.
It was bad news. So I woke up Thursday morning to go to work, and someone had broken into my car, and in the back of it, mind you, the trunk area, and taken my drone out and smashed it to pieces, and just left it in the front of my door.
Man, this is like some Godfather level stuff here. That's like putting the severed horse head in your bed.
That's exactly what I said. Yep.
They didn't want to just steal. Like, it doesn't even make sense. They could have stole that drone. How much was that drone worth? How much could they have sold that on eBay for?
Probably $1,500 or so, probably.
Yeah. So they're either dumb and maybe just didn't understand. But I would think if they're dumb, they'd think it's even maybe worth more or something. I don't know. But someone out there has some sort of axe to grind against you, man. That is dark.
It was very disturbing, and I still have like the carcass, if you will, in the house because insurance purposes, just in case.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like, I don't know. It's not so much that they broke the thing, because they obviously just broke it. They removed the battery, because if they'd hit the battery, it would have exploded in their face, which would have been sweet justice. But they beat it to hell, took like the cameras off, they snapped the antennas off the controller and all that stuff, and they just I don't know, I have no idea what happened, like why someone would break it and not like go try to pawn it off or something like that.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. You brought up a good point when I saw you talking about it on social media, is like you said you don't really fly it that much, I guess, around your house, and the last time you did was a long time ago, so it's not like you were bugging anybody with it, so I don't know, man. I feel like it's a personal matter. I feel like you got like an arch nemesis out there. Like, I'm just trying to make the situation lighthearted, but man, that's dark.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. So here in this part of the country is spring break for kids, and I'm pretty sure some kids just got into it, my car, and saw it and smashed it, because they didn't take anything else. Nothing else was touched in my car.
Yeah, maybe.
Not the tripods, nothing. I mean, all my work I do with the drone is also in Kentucky, and I don't know, like, it's just weird. It's very unsettling, because my wife said that she heard the doorbell ring in the middle of the night, and she has dreams like that sometimes, so I didn't even think anything of it until I opened the door. And I'm like,
man.
So they obviously did this and rang the doorbell and then ran off. So it was pretty
man, that sucks. Well, I'm sure this goes without saying, but I'm sure you have learned your lesson of leaving drones in trunks. But yeah. I think that goes unsaid.
I tell you what, any other day it wouldn't have been in there, but I forgot it the day before, so I put it in my car to take to work the next day.
Isn't that's always how it is? See, like, I don't want to say like I learned my lesson early on, but in my neighborhood growing up, we did have some smash and grabbers. that were more than likely kids or just like dumb teenagers that needed like drug money or something like that. But yeah, kids just go around smashing car windows, just grabbing stuff out of there. Back in the day in high school, it was like those big wallets of CDs. Like, oh no, someone stole all my CDs. It's like it's not really a problem anymore. But yeah, my car is basically just filled with like trash now, so no one wants to steal the trash.
Yeah, that's cool. So, but I do have to give props to Progressive. We have renter's insurance, and they covered it.
Oh, nice.
And it was probably the easiest. Like, it was a 10-minute phone call, and they're like, as soon as we've confirmed with the police that that this is a case, we will get the check out to you this week. Probably tomorrow.
Good on them. I was half expecting a story saying like, oh, well, it was in your car, not necessarily in the house, so we're not going to cover it. So good on them. I feel like I'm glad they didn't give you the runaround.
Yeah, no, that's the second time I've had to deal with Progressive insurance-wise in the past month or so. And I got to tell you, both times it's been awfully easy, like scarily easily. So I got to give them some props for that. So they're going to cut me a check and send it out, and hopefully I can maybe get one for work and then use this money to buy a cheaper one for personal use. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Mike.
Well, that's awesome, man.
I know. What's been up with you? You are trying to step into the all digital realm, as we all know this, but you haven't bought an Apple TV or any big digital system yet. What's your steps? What's your steps on this, man?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at getting a Roku, mainly so I can finish streaming all of these cartoons that I've been watching up in this household. I just finished watching all of the animated Justice League stuff out there. So I guess I started with Young Justice, and then I looped back around and I watched the original Justice League, and then I watched Justice League Unlimited. And so I thought I'd reach out and tell everybody that I finally finished watching it. A superfan, Jim, reached out to me, and he sent a picture that he got with, I guess, the voice actor for Robin. I guess this would probably be the original Robin that goes around. I think sometimes like it might be like the Teen Titans Robin, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but his name was Lauren Lester. So I guess Jim got to meet him. He was pretty excited. So I told Jim, like, hey, I finished Justice League. I'm going to be moving on to Batman the Animated Series soon. So thought I'd let everybody know the Justice League cartoon was really fun. It was a good watch. I think the original Justice League cartoon was a little bit more engaging because every episode is like a two-parter, which is really, really cool. So you're almost getting like a mini Justice League movie every 2 episodes. So they really like have these like awesome like character arcs and story arcs that go through there. And then sometimes in their like season finales, you get like 3-parters, maybe even a 4-parter. But it was a fun time. So I'm gonna go back even farther and watch some animated Batman, the original series, and then maybe by the time I'm done watching all that, the new season of Young Justice will be out. So yes, I've been digesting a lot of awesome DC content. It is out there, just in animated form right now. Maybe they'll change pace and maybe it'll go a different way. But yeah, it was good. And you can catch all that stuff on Netflix. And I think Batman, the animated series, is still on Amazon streaming. So it's all out there streaming for you guys. So I'd go watch it.
So I guess my question is for people out there: if Mike is giving up the Chromecast, is what I've got.
Oh yeah, the Chromecast, it's a nice piece of hardware. Like if you just need to get access to a TV with your app, you just want to throw something on there, you can throw it in like a briefcase or whatever. But it's just not a good, I think, what techies call daily drivers. If you just gonna rely on it every night, it's just too finicky. So I'm just gonna get something hardwired, like Roku wise, that I don't have to deal with like app syncing and like just they're gonna give me like a physical remote. So sometimes we talk about our digital media consumption on this podcast. So I'm just gonna do it old school Roku style. Not a whole lot of flash there. I think it's like a $20, $25 product, but that's what's going on in the Royer household.
Now, I was looking at Roku's a couple weeks ago to get a 4K one for the TV I have, because the Apple TV does not output 4K. But I also saw that the remotes, you can plug headphones into the remotes and listen to the audio that way.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Is that something like your household would benefit from?
Ooh, that could possibly be something we benefit from. So I'll have to keep that in mind. But that sounds like a cool, nifty feature that I ain't getting from Chromecast. So all right.
Yeah. Nope, not at all. Other than that, Mike, I didn't got much else this week. I've been playing some Rock Band and some stuff, but just to kind of free my mind from everything that's going on this week. So I guess we're gonna jump into the news, and that's
what we're here for.
It is true. Well, the thing is with the news, my week started off pretty rough, Mike, because we got into a little bit of a tiff over this next trailer here. And we don't see eye to eye on it, but that's okay. I still respect you and what you think, and even if it's not the same as me. So the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer dropped, the second one, and there's been some talk about it, and I think the content for me is there. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to the movie. Mike, did you ever finish it?
No, I did not finish this trailer out of principle, and I am blaming Sony Pictures because they're the only uncommon denominator here. All of the past Marvel trailers in the past have been great. Even up to like the third trailer, you could watch it and basically get everything you want out of it without getting spoiled in any way. I can't speak for the TV spots because I feel like that's kind of like the last couple feet to the finish line. They just throw at you whatever they can. So not counting TV spots. I've never been spoiled. So I'm just going to assume Sony Pictures is the one that's in charge of putting these trailers together. And this second trailer just spoiled too much for me. Now when I say spoil, I'm not going to necessarily say they revealed the ending or they showed like a twist or something like that. Or maybe, I don't even want to say they necessarily even went as far as like maybe showing Doomsday in like the Batman vs Superman trailer, which probably could have been left unseen until you actually got to the movie maybe. But what they did in this trailer is they just totally blew the wind out of the sails of a very cool scene that we'd seen in the trailers before. And up until the minute and 34 second mark is as far as I made it. So basically, the scene where Spider-Man is holding that ferry together from peeling apart was a very big deal in the first trailer because a lot of people were comparing it to the train scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he was trying to save the train, when Doc Ock was basically trying to derail it or fly it off the rail, however you want to spin it. So this was kind of like upping the stakes. We were just like, wow, this is a new Spider-Man movie. We got our new Spider-Man. He's holding together this giant ferry. And then you don't know what's going to happen. You're like, oh, how is he going to put this back together? How is he going to save all these people? And then in this second trailer, they just like, oh, it's Iron Man. Yep, that you don't have to worry about the tension in that scene and all. Tony's going to come in and he's going to help push that ferry back together and save the day. And that's not even all of it. They even kind of showed the whole story of how it builds up to that scene in general in the trailer. And it was just too much. And I thought maybe just to make myself feel better and maybe not make me feel so crazy is I'm just going to go ahead and describe to you guys what I think is going to happen in that kind of scene in the movie. And then if that's actually what happens in the theater, we know that they showed us way too much in the trailer. So basically in the trailer, Peter's just like, oh, Tony, there's these people with some guns and like they're going to be selling them and I want to go stop them. And Tony's just like, no, let the big kids do it. We'll take care of it. And then obviously Peter doesn't follow Tony's orders. He goes out there, he beats some guys up on the harbor. He goes out to the ferry because it's just been attacked and he tries to put it together. And then Iron Man comes to save the day. And then they even show what happens after that scene of Tony getting mad at him, saying like, hey, you shouldn't have been doing that. You need to give me that suit back. If you don't have a great responsibility, you can't have this great power, so on and so on. So it's just like they took this whole scene. I'm not saying it's a whole act, but I think that's a good like 15 to 20 minutes of the movie that I just know what's going to happen. And like you told me while we were arguing it earlier this week, it doesn't ruin the movie. You know, there's still plenty of movie there, but it just sucks knowing that when that scene starts rolling in the theater here in a couple weeks, that I'm just going to be like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. Let's just get this awesome scene over with that maybe could have been cooler if I didn't know it all already. So that's why I'm upset. That's how I think things are going to play out in the theater. And I just wish Sony would have realized that they were going to make $1 billion off this movie without just shoving all of this in that trailer. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what happens after that moment in the trailer because out of principle I stopped watching, but I liked some of the other intricacies at the beginning of it. We kind of got to see the Genki character. I don't remember what his actual name is in the
I think it's Ned.
Yeah,
leads.
we got to see him. We got to see him put on the Spider-Man mask. That was kind of fun. There's just some kind of other Spider-Man action scenes where he's kind of swinging on the webs. You know, that all that stuff was fine. But like, why give away the whole trailer? Why give away the whole fairy scene? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Why give it away? They gave it away. It makes me mad, Chris. I'm done ranting.
Well, so to me, I had a great time with this trailer. I don't think it doesn't bother me one bit because I think there's more to this than we're seeing right here at the end of it, at the beginning, or in this whole little scene. I think there's more to this scene than we know. And I mean, yeah, you've strung some stuff together, but I think it's going to be okay. I still assume this first act material in my book. I don't think that's like the turning point of the movie. I still think it's first act kind of stuff. Because again, there's something they somehow have to get to Washington D.C. for this trailer. Or, you know, in this movie, because we've seen that, and so on and so forth. But what I did, a lot of people I've seen, some people's, I think is cool. Other people's, the spider tracker on his chest, Mike, did you get to that part?
Well, yeah, I got to it because in this whole world of putting trailers up like on Facebook, they showed that in like the first like 3 seconds of the trailer because they got to get you into it so you don't just scroll past it. So yeah, they pretty much showed that right at the beginning. Okay. So I got to see that.
So the spider tracker being the thing on his chest, I think is kind of nifty. I don't know what purpose it does or if he even knows what it does. What it's going out doing is definitely interesting. So I think that was a different way to take the spider tracker like stuff on a little bit. I thought that was really cool. So see how much more tech does this suit have that we don't know about really, or he doesn't know about.
One thing I would like to see is, you know, Tony giving him this suit does just solve this problem that I've had in the Spider-Man universe forever of just how does a kid in high school, even if he's really smart, make a really awesome superhero suit. So it's kind of cool that, you know, Tony makes it for him. But I would kind of like to see Peter maybe tinker with it and kind of make it his own. You know, kind of when you like buy like an Android phone and like you root it and you make changes to it. You know, I would kind of like to make him see like custom changes to it so it just doesn't seem like a kid who basically just gets a free gift and just runs with it. So I'd like to see him be really smart and make some additions and some tweaks to it, and I think that could be pretty cool.
There is a clip in this with Peter and Ned working on some sort of tech. It looks like, you know, like they're soldering or building something. I don't know if that's an old suit or new suit, or I think there's going to be a third one. I think there's a third one we haven't seen yet that'll kind of come into play later because he's fighting someone who flies. And Spider-Man doesn't fly, as we know. So I think there's something else we're going to get in here. I don't think it's the Iron Spider-Man suit just yet, like a lot of people have wanted for ever and ever and ever. I don't think we're going to get that far, but yeah. Another thing I really like is we don't know the Vulture, but we know he's a blue-collar worker in this. And his business was put, like, he cleans up after superhero battles. And I think the incident or Tony Stark puts him out of business with something called Damage Control, which Damage Control is a rumored TV series that ABC and Marvel are kind of like pondering over.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if we'll ever get there. They keep saying stuff, yes, no, yes, no. Maybe this is the fruition of it. Like, hey, we'll just put it in a movie. And we're not going to make a TV show out of it. But I think on this one, it actually makes this trailer to me makes the Vulture more relatable and gives him a little bit of purpose, or at least a little bit of background to why he is both against A, Iron Man, and B, Spider-Man in this one as well.
Yeah, let's just hope Michael Keaton isn't wasted in kind of a bland villain role. You know, you finally got this guy who's on the huge upswing in his career, you know, has played superheroes before, you know, has been like Oscar nominated, maybe even Oscar won for Birdman. I'm not 100% sure, but I hope he can really kind of make an awesome villain so we don't have to worry so much about having all these crappy villains in the MCU. But you know, who knows if this is technically even going to stay in the MCU going forward.
Right, and that brings to the next point. Because of this trailer, because of CinemaCon going on this week, a lot of people are out and about doing talks and talking around, and that's where a lot of this information comes from this week. The biggest question now is how long is this Spider-Man deal for, Mike? The thing is, they say that there's at least a sequel to Homecoming. Even Sony has announced it. I think they put it on the calendar for like 2019 or something like that. But Marvel hasn't said anything. It was just Sony, so I don't believe them. And one of the things, and then this is the Amy Pascal, I believe the president of Sony, said, one of the things I think is so amazing about this experience is that that you don't have studios deciding to work together to make a film very often. In fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel. Now, this is very early on. They may be very, very early on. Do you think the box office receipts from Spider-Man may change their tune?
So I don't know. There's a lot of things to think about here. So I think when these studios kind of make deals, I would think the character would at least be made in rules of three. You know, I think these actors want to have these bigger contracts. They don't want to have to worry about, you know, these disputes in the future. So if they are going by the kind of this rule of three issue, you know, we got him in Civil War, you know, we got the Homecoming and then the Homecoming sequel. So that kind of wraps it up into 3 appearances of Spider-Man.
Well,
so
you have 2 Infinity Wars in between.
Yeah, you know, that's true. So it's like, what's going on there? I don't know. It's just, we've talked about, we've never really liked this mixed custody thing just because, you know, the parents fight and we obviously like one parent over the other. So we want sole custody over at Marvel. And it's just like, I feel like Sony's just trying to swing its big old dick around and we don't really want to see it. So it's just annoying. You know, they're going to try to make that Venom movie. Hopefully it's good. I don't know. I don't think we need a standalone one. So maybe they're just hoping they can build up all these side characters and have them fleshed out by the time they kind of do a standalone Spider-Man movie on their own with Tom Holland. And maybe they'll just bring them all together like I guess Avengers style, if you want to say, and then bring the Sony standalone characters with the Spider-Man mixed custody character and try to make something good. I don't know. It's just, how are you supposed to trust Sony over there, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, totally. I think the thing with this is, you know, Marvel usually signs it in things of 6, and that would mean Infinity War 1, 2, Civil War, and then 3 Spider-Man movies. And I think the box office receipts are going to make Sony feel a little different, because what I did hear, and this was all rumor and I didn't put it down in the news, is Sony likes Marvel's creative decisions and their workflow. I mean, how could you not really? Like, they do so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the double-edged sword over there that they're known for, is that they have the formula which cranks out these money-making movies, but also sometimes you happen to kind of start to see the formula on screen. So maybe they'll kind of find a way to tweak that in the future so we don't feel it. But yeah, I would think that if Marvel's just like, hey, Sony, we went ahead and made $1 billion movie with your character that you couldn't manage to do, so how about you let us keep them? I mean, I always assume when they penned the deal that we were going to get 3 standalone Spider-Man movies anyway, just because trilogy is kind of the way of Hollywood. So I would kind of be okay if maybe the character is kind of pseudo-retired maybe after the trilogy, because, you know, that'll take us easily into the next phase of Marvel, and they can maybe think about other characters or something like that. But I just want to know if the Sony deal is ever going to expire. Like, are they ever going to lose Spider-Man? Can they just perpetually use him forever? You know, is there like a limit on the deal? I would like to know that.
Well, I think it falls under like I think it's actually I think Sony is perpetual and X-Men is every 7 years they have to make one. Or Fox is every 7 years, Sony is perpetual. But Sony also said they don't like Marvel's spending habits. And I'm like, well, they are backed by Disney.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They're gonna make your money back and then some. So
yeah, it's like you gotta spend money to make money. And like Spider-Man is the most proven property out there. I would say definitely for Marvel. I don't know if it necessarily tops the notoriety and namesake of a Batman or a Superman, but I mean, come on, your Spider-Man movie's gonna make plenty of money when you have fucking Iron Man in the movie too. So it's just like, Sony, just chill out, sit back, rake in the money, and just go develop a different property. Go make a new movie or something, you know? Go do something else that's not related to Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. If they can give you if Marvel can give you Robert Downey Jr. for a movie, like, just let them do what they want. Like,
yeah, he doesn't come cheap anymore, Sony. I don't think you could afford Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I think he doesn't like your quality as well. But just to wrap this all up, the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, the second trailer, the reason we got so much Iron Man, I think, is this trailer is not for us. A lot of the common viewers, you know, the majority of the ticket buyers don't know where Spider-Man is anymore because of all the... I mean, it was 2014 the last time we saw him in a different universe. 2016 he was with Marvel. Nobody knows where Spider-Man is if you're a common viewer. But we're in the shit, so we know. but the common viewer doesn't know where Spider-Man is or what he's doing or if he's going to get a good one. So by presenting them Iron Man and Tony Stark, something they're familiar with, something they know and trust, I think that's this trailer was to help sell tickets to the common viewer, not us. So at the end of the day, they gotta sell tickets, but I think Robert Downey Jr. is that, hey, it's okay, people who don't know any better, we have Iron Man as well. Come watch our movie with us.
And at the end of the day, I'm not watching any more Spider-Man trailers. They've done ruined it for me.
I'm gonna watch them, and I'm gonna love them, because if you think that ruined it, you just ought to finish it out, because nothing else gets in there. So. All right. Cinemacon news: Thor Ragnarok. God, I want a trailer for this so bad.
Oh yeah.
So instead, we got a new image from Thor Ragnarok. It's not a whole lot. It's not much, but it's as Thor and not his war paint running into some sort of battle or something.
Surprise, surprise! Thor's running into battle.
Yep, exactly. With his short hair and his beard, and he just in his war stuff. I don't know. He looks like he's having a good time. Like, this is the Thor movie we've all wanted. So there's a new Thor image from that if you want to see what he looks like. I know a lot of people just like to look at Thor. That's about it. So
I know my wife does.
There you go. That one's for her. Now we got some Black Panther stuff. Now last week we talked about a new image. They were filming it on the car. So this new image that was released shows Black Panther riding on top of a car, low profile, through the streets of it looks to be Shanghai or some other.
Yeah, and that is a point I kind of wanted to bring up when we talked about the photos, I believe last week, of him on the car. We were talking about, we thought maybe this movie was going to be isolated to his homeland.
Wakanda.
So, yeah, Wakanda, it was escaping me. I was like, maybe I can get around not saying the name because I can't think of it right now. But, yeah, this does kind of look like an Asian city for sure. I want to say maybe Japanese. I don't know. I'm just trying to determine these neon signs up there. They could even just be in like Koreatown somewhere. I don't know, but basically he is out of Wakanda, jumping on cars, trying to get somebody. I don't know, but then the license plates do kind of look like classic American style license plates, so I don't know what's going on here. I don't know where he is, but he is on top of cars looking like a cat, and he's gonna mess up some fools.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if his suit is very stealthy, but we'll find out. But he's just right on cars, man. No one knows he's up there. But there were some not new characters announced. Characters were announced for the actresses, and I'm gonna butcher this, and friend of the show Quentin Parker is gonna tell me I'm wrong later. But Dana Gurira plays Okoye. She is one of the guards, I believe, and same way with Lupita Nyong'o, Nakia. They're the little guards that Black Panther has that we saw in Civil War.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker is playing Zuri, an old friend of the Black Panther, and Letitia Wright is actually playing a character named Shuri, not to be confused with Zuri. Shuri is the sister of Black Panther.
Hey, you did really good on those names. You don't beat yourself up over there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be reminded that Forrest Whitaker's in the movie because I wanted more Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One, so I'm glad we're getting more Forrest Whitaker in our other nerdy stuff.
Yeah, and Forrest and speaking of Rogue One, it comes out Tuesday on to own on physical copies if you hadn't already got it yet on digital.
All right.
I kind of forgot about it, if I was going to be honest with you. So there's some Black Panther characters. You can look them up, read some about them. Shuri took on the Black Panther mantle for a while, so I don't think she'll take over the Black Panther suit, but at least we know she's in there. Avengers Infinity War gave us a new video this week, and now we don't know who Thanos' generals are, but I will tell you right now, when I saw this video on Twitter, this man with this staff, that staff is the staff of Corvus Glaive, one of the Black Order of Thanos from the Infinity series. So I assume they're going to be taking some of those Infinity generals. They're called the Black Order, or the Cull Obsidian is what they call themselves. And I think Thanos is going to be sending them out to get stuff and take people down. And this staff is taken directly from that series. So it's sweet affirmation to see this going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that bodysuit has enough tracking points on it, but I think they'll be able to make the CG guy pretty good.
Yeah, apparently, I mean, he looks that tracking ball on top of his head looks like he's supposed to be pretty tall as well. So, yeah. I don't know. Corvus Glaive looks pretty good. You can see him in the comments there on that Twitter link as well. So, that was pretty cool to see. And I'm really excited for Infinity War. Like, the closer we get, the more and more I just want to see everything. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp came up twice in the news this week, Mike. Once I saw on your news feed, I believe we put it on Superhero Slate. And once again, here we have a Walt Disney Studios release schedule through 2019. And this is actually a pretty busy schedule, I think. I think I'm going to see quite a few of these. I don't know about you. But Ant-Man and the Wasp has a new logo there in around summer of 2018, if you could tell there, right after Incredibles 2.
Yeah, I can see it.
So we get to see that. It looks like the Wasp has her own like yellow font. We don't know if that'll stick. They never usually stick until they officially announce it. So there's an Ant-Man and Wasp thing. And a bunch of other movies throughout here. The Untitled Han Solo film, now that we know it's not just called Han Solo, the movie. And Mary Poppins Returns. So we got some movies in there.
It's quite a lineup we got here. But yeah, we know Disney and Marvel kind of like to do this, showing their timeline of all their stuff going on. So I don't know. We'll have to see. This is they're going to be making tons of money off all these movies. That's all I can see. I can just see the dollar bills like falling from the ceiling.
I like how in 2017 summer is an untitled fairy tale, but like that's this year. Like you need to announce what this movie's going to be.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't really know. These dates ranges seem to be kind of weird the way they're placed. It's kind of a weird timeline to look at, but it's almost like don't look at the times necessarily, but just look at the order of them, I guess.
Yeah, well, the dots kind of say like this is early summer, this is late fall kind of deal.
Yeah.
But like you haven't announced it by like it's spring. We're around the corner from summer, man. Get on that. So, but also the director went on to say Jeremy Renner is not in Ant-Man and the Wasp, despite the rumors.
Whew. All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe they're just wanting to surprise us. You know, they're listening to the podcast. They hear me saying that I want surprises back in my Marvel movies. So maybe they're going to try to surprise me.
Well, they'll just show it in the trailer, Mike. So
probably. Well, maybe if Sony's cutting it.
So I think with this is Jeremy Renner said he's not going to be Mission Impossible 6 because of a Marvel movie. I think he's working on Infinity War all year and not Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I don't care. Whatever. Can he be in Mission Impossible 6? Can he? It doesn't bother me. They can go either way.
I mean, pretty much every movie is getting filmed in Atlanta anyway, so maybe he can just get a couple hours to swing up on set. I don't know. To do a Wolverine style, ordering a beer in like a bar. I don't know. Maybe we can get him in there.
If they even need him, I think just move on. Inhumans, we got a new photo from this week showing Medusa's alternative look. If you take a look through these photos here, you notice she kind of has like a buzzed hairstyle going on here. And that's funny because she's known for having very long hair, right, Mike? That's what you know. But if you look at the second thing here from Inhumans Volume 2, you can see her hair gets kind of cut off into the buzz cut kind of look. So I think they're still going to follow that series that I've been telling everyone they're going to follow from the late 90s. So my sister-in-law just started reading the series last night or this morning actually. So I'm excited to see what she thinks of it. But I'm still excited. I'm still looking forward to Inhumans. They're filming. They're going full force at it out there in Hawaii. So I think we need to get a job at that Marvel studio, Mike. Just
yeah, I think I'd like to be out there.
Yeah. I agree. So that's our Inhumans news for the week. We got to have one, at least one. So that's it. There you go. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series video game, got a trailer. Its first official trailer this week. We took a look at it. It looks fun. I don't know any. I've never played these Telltale games, but I really want to play this one. It looks entertaining.
Yeah, I mean it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy. It seems like their main bad guy is going to be Thanos. So if you're chomping at the bit to get a little bit more Thanos in your life sooner, I guess pick up this game.
Yes, Thanos is there. Brian of Comic UI, who runs that with me, he mentioned this seems like my kind of game. It's about being in space, but there's a 10-second bit about them being in an elevator in space. So I thought that was a pretty good reference. So the humor's there, the characters are there. Thanos looks pretty good. He looks like he's gonna fight him and so on and so forth. So and like I said, the first image I sent over to you, he has a glowing hand, which is more than we can say for Iron Fist. So we got that going on. And the release is April 18th, so you can play I think the first episode at least before the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes out. which they're not related. They're not related at all. Don't think they are. I actually have never seen Wreck-It Ralph. Mike, have you?
What?
Yeah.
You've never seen Wreck-It Ralph?
I know.
Man.
I got it for free from Disney, and I still haven't watched it yet.
Man, you got to watch it. It's good. It's a fun flick. You know, they have a lot of video game references. It's just a good movie. Like, so there's a reason to be excited that they're making a sequel.
Yes, and they officially announced a sequel for it called Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. And the teaser for it is essentially them loading an app on a phone. So it looks like he's going to be delving into phone app land and dealing with the online games and stuff like that.
Something tells me that Wreck-It Ralph is going to be more successful with this internet app-based movie than the Emoji Movie is going to be. So if you had to see one app-based movie coming up, I would probably say save your money for Wreck-It Ralph. But maybe going forward, you're going to have more app-based movie options. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, but I think it'll be good. I trust them over there.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard good things about the first one. I just never sat down to watch it. So there we go. We got that coming out. Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets got a new trailer this week as well.
Ooh, and it looks slick.
I've still yet to watch this trailer because I went to the movies and I thought they would show this in the theater this week. They only showed the original one, so I haven't got to sit down and watch this one yet. But it makes me want to watch The Fifth Element right now because it looks very Fifth Element-y.
You get a lot of vibes when you watch this new trailer specifically because you get to see a lot more of the kind of character alien character designs that they throw up on screen. So you kind of start to get the Avatar type of vibe with maybe how the aliens look, but also you get the Fifth Element vibe because it's from the same type of I believe the same director,
same writer and director.
Yeah. I don't remember how it's laid out there, but also I do kind of get this scary vibe a little bit. I have nothing to base this off of except for just a gut feeling that this is starting to feel a little John Carter-ish to me, and not the good way. So I think there's a lot of defenders out there for the John Carter movie when it comes to the quality of the film, so I can't speak to that, but I don't know, box office wise, I feel like that this could absolutely just tank and just cost the studio a lot of money. I hope it doesn't. I sincerely hope it doesn't because it looks really fun, but you kind of got this kind of relatively unknown property. John Carter was like an old classic sci-fi book, but I wouldn't say it was the general populace even knew what it was. So I kind of hope it doesn't end up going that way because it looks like this could be a fun kind of series to see out there. So hopefully it stays strong.
It suffers from a horrible title. I think there's no easy way to say I want to see Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets. They should have shortened it down a little bit somehow. But I definitely...
Well, I think it's funny that you say that, though, because that was one of the criticisms of the John Carter movie. They're just like, who wants to go see a movie named John Carter? They should have kept it the original name, which was, I think, John Carter of Mars or John Carter from Mars or whatever. But a lot of people were saying if you would have left Mars in the title, it would have gone over better. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this, mostly because the last two superhero movies we saw the leads in, Dane DeHaan and I forget her name, Cara Delevingne, I believe. She was in Suicide Squad as the Enchantress, and he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2 as the Green Goblin. So they both left bad taste in our mouths for their last comic book movies. So hopefully this one's a little better, and they look awesome. They look like they're having fun in it. So I'm definitely I'm on board to watch this summer. Mike, are you?
Oh yeah, I think this is gonna hopefully go the route of Kingsman, where we're just gonna be pleasantly surprised.
Yes, and I believe it's late July for us. So I think we've got a pretty big gap in there. We can sit down and watch it. So count me in for sure. Speaking of, we were talking about Spider-Man earlier, in the Venom movie, Mike, we talked about this last week. Adi Shankar, who did the Truth in Journalism, is on the radar to actually direct this movie.
Oh, man, I feel so smart that I brought this up last week because I was like, if there's any way that they might do justice to this is maybe they take their kind of inspiration from that Truth in Journalism short, which you can check out our show notes from episode 114 if you're looking for that trailer. But yeah, if they can kind of maybe hit that vibe and just tell a really good character-driven story, that just happens to be Venom, maybe they can make me happy. But we all know I'm not happy with Sony and the Spider-Man property, so it's not like I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt at all.
Yeah, Avi Arad, who is like the producer of this, is shit. Like I wish he would just like disappear forever. So, but if they bring this guy in, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what he can do on a budget, and with this like the studio restricting him, I feel like there might be some headbutting, so to speak. But whatever. If it's gonna happen, like get us something good. Get us someone who can do the best they can do with what they've been given, and maybe work inside a smaller box. So I'm okay with that. It's all right in my book. And speaking of more Sony films, Black Cat Silver Sable movie has been fast-tracked and may start filming this year, Mike. They want to crank this out.
I might have to, I don't know, maybe skip these movies on principle or try to find a way to see them for free. I don't know. Sony just needs to prove to me that they can make a decent Spider-Man flick, because the last decent one we saw was Spider-Man 2. So they got a little bit of work to do. Yeah,
they're not known for doing good things, so to speak. I believe I can't say this for sure. I think it was the Ghost Rider movies were done kind of by Sony, I think, or like Columbia, which I think is owned by Sony, maybe. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, Chris.
Yeah. So, well, the point I'm making here is you go to one movie that you want to see, and then you hop over to the other one, Mike, when no one's looking.
I see what you're saying.
So, I think this Black Cat Silver Sable movie is worth a movie hop or two if you can, because I mean, no one's asking for it. I don't know if anyone wants to see it, but
well, it's just classic riding the other people's coattails. I mean, Venom's going to be rated R because Deadpool's rated R and made a bunch of money, and Logan was rated R and made a bunch of money. So we're going to go ahead and make our Venom movie rated R just because it's fancy. And then I feel like they're just making the Black Cat Silver Sable movie because, like, oh, well, the Wonder Woman movie is coming out and they're going to get all that buzz for being a female superhero. Then Captain Marvel's coming out and they want that female superhero buzz, so we want that female superhero buzz either. I don't feel like they're doing it because they think they need female superheroes on screen and they deserve their time to shine, which they absolutely do. I feel like they're just doing it to just chase the fad or whatever's going out there. So they're not doing it for the right reasons.
There's no reason. Like, they haven't announced who or why or what this is for. They just have the characters and they're like, okay, we need to use them, or we're going to lose them probably. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to see good female-led superhero movies, Mike, and that brings us into our next point, the Batgirl movie that was announced this week.
Oh, boy.
To everyone's surprise. So, it's not just a Batgirl solo movie, it's a Batgirl solo movie with Joss Whedon directing, writing, and producing this movie.
Oh, that is what you wanted to hear over there at the Warner Brothers lot. So the last we've kind of heard about Joss Whedon in the superhero universe was Age of Ultron, and I think some people wish that movie could have gone better, but I think from what we've heard from the set is he was just tasked with way too much. He had to make so much happen in that movie when I think at the end of the day, Josh just wanted to make a good movie, but he had to service so many other things, so that is very unfortunate. So hopefully maybe when he has just a standalone character and a standalone movie, he can do what Joss Whedon does best, which is just make awesome, entertaining stuff. So all I'm hoping is by the time he gets around to making this Batgirl movie, the Warner Brothers universe still exists and is maybe halfway decent. Because wasn't he, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he want to make the Wonder Woman movie? Wasn't he kind of circling that directing role or writing role or something at some point in time?
Someone's mentioned his name probably at some point in time.
Yeah, I think there's a Google search out there that if you searched his name, there'd probably be some combination out there. But I think it's kind of cool. I don't think people are saying like, oh, he's like a traitor or something going over the Warner Brothers. Just like Joss Whedon's like a nerd, just like all of us. I mean, like, you don't say no to making like a Batgirl movie. That's like super cool. Like, let him make a Batgirl movie. That's awesome. Like, I'm sure everybody likes reading both sides of the comic book universe. So just let him make his Batgirl movie, and I'm sure it'll be good. So yeah, I don't think there needs to be any sort of like tribal shit going on here. So we love Joss Whedon because the Avengers, that first one, just has a special place in my heart, and I thank Joss for that.
Yeah, so I agree that he will, if he will do good work if this goes through. Now, DC is taking a shotgun approach to everything.
Yes.
Now, again, if Mike can get mad at Sony, I can get mad at DC for this because they have not made anything that has made me feel confident in them one bit, even if they add Joss Whedon as a director. They could bring over the Russo brothers, and I'd still be scared that we wouldn't get anything great because I think there's too much studio interference still. Again, it may change. We may get something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want something that's going to knock us out of the park. I don't even think Justice League will knock me out of the park. I'm excited for it, but it's not going to change my world.
We just need something fresh. You know, we talked about a while ago how they had that executive shakeup over there at Warner Brothers when it came to these DC movies. And we don't really get a clean break from all of that old stuff with Wonder Woman because that was in production before that happened. And then even if you kind of look at Justice League, you're still getting Zack Snyder and the same group of people that made Batman and Superman. So it's just kind of like we need to, like, what's the movie after Justice League? Like, that's kind of where almost you have to maybe measure all of this new change. So hopefully something good happens there. But yeah, well, I don't know.
That's Aquaman 13 months later, as we talked about last week as well. So which is not a good sign because, like, I don't know, if you're going to build a universe, you got to do something with them. And
yeah, you gotta build it.
Now, this character they have said probably follows the New 52 version of Batgirl, who has regained her mobility after being kind of crippled by the Joker in the Killing Joke. And she's back on the streets doing justice. So she can exist in this world. It's not a brand new character like that they have to build up, like, per se. She will already have a background that they can explore as they tell the story. So this Batgirl can fit in there. But this project has been conceived within the last month, they think. So that just means don't expect it to be in production until probably next year. Putting it on like a 2019 release date kind of thing. Man,
I just hope they can lock down Joss, but I could only think about what could have been. Maybe if they would have got him sooner, I don't know.
Right, it's one of those things like, yes, let's get excited, but at the same time, hold on. DC actually needs to deliver on these 14 movies they say they're making.
Yeah.
Because again, we've got Shazam and the Shazam like spin-off movie. We've got this Batgirl. They've got a supposed Nightwing movie in production. Let's just get something from them before we get too excited and just get our hearts broken yet again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to peg this one with cautious optimism and go from there. But if you guys are interested in learning maybe about what Batgirl this could be about, the New 52 version is probably where you should start and maybe read up on her. So pick up those books. Wink, wink. Hint, hint. Deadpool 2 got some bad news this week as well. Brad Pitt will not be Cable, despite how much we wanted him to be.
I mean, obviously he got close, so it's not like it was just a flash pan rumor. They made concept art of him. They paid someone to do that. So I think what I read was he wanted to do it and he was interested in it, but scheduling conflicts. So that is unfortunate, isn't it? Like, you know, it just comes down to schedule, whether like a movie is just amazing or not sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it, to have someone like the caliber of Brad Pitt in it, because I think maybe they could have made some funny, like, fourth wall breaking jokes there. But maybe if they have that runner up, Zod coming in playing Cable, maybe they can make some jokes there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we don't know who's going to be up. Again, we talked about Michael Shannon being there. Yeah, but Brad Pitt, he did it walked away amicably. He had a scheduling conflict. No problem. Like, he's not like, oh, God, I hate you guys. You're awful. Brad Pitt is a busy man in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and you know, he's got to have some weekends with those kids of his occasionally. So it's sad he's not going to be in there. But when everything was going to shit for me this week, I did turn on Deadpool, and that made me feel better about life. So I did enjoy watching the original Deadpool again at work, while with the volume turned very, very low, so they didn't know what was going on. So there's that. Did you finish Legion this week, Mike? That's my question for you.
Well, I'm kind of preparing myself to binge watch it just because I've been kind of told maybe it's something cool to like watch one after another. So it's just like, well, there's only going to be like 10 episodes, so I'm just going to save them up and watch them. But I've been kind of like getting some feelers out there from people, and they say that the show really ramps up and goes to some pretty crazy places later in the season. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, well, lucky for you, it's only 8 episodes, and
oh, well, there you go.
It wrapped up this week, and I agree. I think it does. Like, it starts off weird, like, but you have to actively watch this show. Because when you're dealing with someone, like it's like watching Fight Club. If you don't pay attention, you're not gonna know what's happening later, kind of thing. Because it's Legion. He's mental. He's got issues in his head. So it's all there. It's very fun. I really enjoyed Aubrey Plaza in it. Looking forward to that. And there's some great things that you're gonna get in there. To me, if they were to make a show based on the Sentry, this is a show I would base it on. Because
I mean, that would make sense. You kind of got that mental kind of angle.
It does, and a lot of it's in there. And as I was talking with Brian of Comic UI, we're both Sentry fans. Like, I'm like, this is exactly what the Sentry would need if he was to get a TV show or a movie. And we know Legion's been done for a second season, and I'm really excited to see more of it. Like, it's just fantastic. It's just on point, Mike. I want to hear more when you watch it. So let me know
awesome.
when you get it done.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
So cool. Bad news for the Dark Tower people. It's been moved back a week from July to August 4th of this summer, to make room for the Emoji Movie. I can't even say it with a straight face. Like,
yeah, we can't get away from it. I guess Sony Pictures is just crossing their fingers, hoping that Emoji Movie is going to make a ton of freaking money. But yeah, I believe Dark Tower is Colombian, which is associated with Sony, so they're kind of looking out for each other there. Well, we were just talking at the end of July, we were going to get a Valerian, so I think we're going to be busy seeing that movie and not the Emoji Movie. I think if we see the Emoji Movie, it'll be around the same route of how we watched Pixels back in the day, pirated for free, because I don't want to give the emojis any money. So, all right.
Yeah, I think we should pick one bad movie a year that we just totally are going to hate and rip on, and just do that. That's it for the year. Hell, I might even call you in the middle of the screening. Maybe we can sync up our screenings and just talk the way through it, because no one else is really paying attention. But yeah, so Dark Tower, Sony just wants to piss off everyone in every genre. So if the Emoji Movie doesn't succeed, maybe they'll sell their pictures, Sony Pictures brand. So the Dark Tower, hopefully they can steal some of that audience from the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, I mean, but speaking of the Dark Tower, maybe Stephen King is going to kind of get a resurgence on the big screen. Mm-hmm. That It trailer came out this week, which seemed pretty crazy, seemed pretty creepy. Maybe the Dark Tower will be able to kind of bring back some box office money on that end. So maybe all these crappy Stephen King movies that we've gotten in the past will kind of be remade to something good.
Oh, it's not the IT. It's it, not IT. Yeah, oh man, exactly. That makes the trailer that much more better for me. And once I realized, I was waiting for him to solve like technical problems down in the sewer. Oh man,
if that Photoshop isn't out there already, I might make it where Moss is just down there in the sewer.
He does have like a clown fro kind of going on. That's it. That's our joke for the week, Mike. We got it. We nailed it. Did you watch the War for the Planet of the Apes trailer? We got a new one this week.
I did, and it is. It looks cool. I mean, if you like the other Apes movies, this will get you excited. There's not a whole lot standing out here. You just get kind of more awesome apeness. You get to see a little of Woody Harrelson, like actually having like one-on-one conversations with Caesar. It looks like trying to strike a deal. Not really. The apes seem to be communicating a little bit more. It's kind of cool. They've been really restrained in showing the progression of these apes, like kind of rising and becoming what they, kind of what we know from the past that they end up being, is basically as big and tall and stand up as humans and talk just as fluently. So we kind of get to see that progress a little bit in this trailer too. So I mean, I'm looking forward to this movie. I liked all the other ones, so they're doing a good job over there with these.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually, again, confession time, I've not seen the other two, but I feel like maybe if this is the final one, maybe I can sit down and watch it, like watch all three of them.
I don't think I think there's one more after this, if I remember correctly. But so you'll have a bit of a weekend watching Apes on screen, but it's fun. They're a worthwhile watch. You're not gonna be like just regretting it.
Do they have any beverages like the Ecto Cooler that we could drink while we watch?
No, I don't think there's a whole lot of product placement in this ape post-apocalyptic world. So I don't know, maybe like a Gillette razor. I don't know, because Woody Harrelson's like shaving his head or something. But yep, nothing there.
Damn the luck. At least I tried. So okay, well we'll go with that. Instead, I watched the Mummy trailer, the new one today. And you watched it right before the show started, I believe. Is Tom Cruise magical in this? It definitely is not just a solid remake of the Brendan Fraser movie that we've seen.
Yeah, no. We were trying to discuss before we started recording today, like, does he have like some sort of power? That is he going to be like Van Helsing, but Van Helsing doesn't really have powers? Is he going to be like the Wolfman? But this seems kind of a weird way to morph Tom Cruise into the Wolfman. So it seems like Tom Cruise is going to be like the thread that maybe pulls all these Universal monster movies together, possibly. So, we don't really know what he's doing there. But I feel like he's going to end up being some sort of like basically copyrighted character at some point in time, or like free range character. I don't know.
See, I am of the other opinion. Russell Crowe is playing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I think he's the thread. I think he's the crossover character.
You're going to put all that on Russell Crowe, man?
Look, he's going to put it all on himself, man. He's just making movies, singing songs, and fighting around the world. And apparently he fights Tom Cruise in this at some point. So I want to see, like, I don't want to see The Mummy, but I want to see The Mummy. It's like one of those, hey, we didn't get a Mission Impossible this year, so let's go watch Mission Impossible The Mummy version. Because all this stuff is like Tom Cruise in a plane, he's dead, he comes back to life. Yeah, The Mummy, honestly, it looks like X-Men Apocalypse, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is just me getting older and just becoming more cynical, or maybe I'm just more cynical this week. But the trailer just, I didn't see anything I hadn't seen before. You know, you just kind of mash up, like you said, like an apocalypse movie with a mummy movie, and you kind of get stuff along the lines. They tried to like set up like a scare moment in the trailer where they're underwater and someone comes up behind them. Like, that doesn't really affect you, especially after watching that It trailer. You know, everybody's floating over there. So, I don't know. We'll have to, like I say all the time, wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, this might be one of those popcorn movies that I go watch on like a matinee and just like chill out. Because I enjoyed the first two Brendan Fraser ones. I'm not gonna lie. So, oh well. But that ties back to this whole Universal monster thing, and they've actually finally hired someone to write Creature from the Black Lagoon. I did not think we would ever get a remake of this movie, ever see it again. But they've hired Will Beall, who wrote Aquaman, to write this. So we're gonna get Aquaman in the Black Lagoon, sounds like.
He's been pinned as the you're the water writer, right? You know how to write around swamps and oceans, and it's just like, no, I can write anything. Nope, you're the water writer. Yeah, we're gonna get you for the Waterworld sequel.
Can you go through your Aquaman script and change every 8 words so it's not plagiarism and submit that to us, because that's what we need for this.
Do a find and replace. Just swap out Aquaman for a creature, and we're all good.
Yeah. Instead of the sea, it's the Black Lagoon, and he's not fighting his friend Batman, but Ratman or something like that. I don't know. I have no.
You're pulling at straws.
I have no faith. They're pulling at straws, giving me a black Creature from the Black Lagoon movie in like 2017, Mike. Okay, we have moved beyond Black Lagoons, so. Oh, well. Star Trek Discovery added a classic Star Trek character this week. Rainn Wilson of The Office fame has been cast as original series character Harry Mudd, who was a villain in the original ones, if I believe.
Do you think Star Trek Discovery is going to be enough for you to get that premium CW streaming app? Is that going to get you off your couch?
CBS, not CW.
Well, you know what I meant.
I did know.
It's all the same to me.
Like,
it's all the same to me.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch a Star Trek TV show, Mike. I've never seen one all the way through that I remember. I think growing up on my rabbit ears and my TV in my room, like occasionally it would be on the Next Generation, but I didn't watch any of it. Like I never got into Star Trek. So I don't think Rainn Wilson with his Beat Spares or Battlestar Galactica will be enough to bring me into the show.
Yeah, he's in the wrong franchise.
Yeah, he close enough to him. Lastly, I ended up seeing Ghost in the Shell this weekend. Mike ended up seeing Ghost in the Shell this weekend. We don't think it's worth your time for a full spoiler cast, so guess what? We're going to do it right here, right now.
Yeah, that's right. And we saved it here for the end of the show, so if you don't want to have this movie spoiled for you, just go ahead and just head on over to superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find all the places that we host the show. But yeah, we're just going to get into this Ghost in the Shell. We both kind of just saw it. I don't want to say necessarily on a whim, but we weren't really planning on it. So what did you think, Chris? I have not gotten your opinion on this.
So have you seen the original, Mike? That's my first question for you.
Yes, I have.
I have not seen the original, and I will tell you what, this movie feels like it was made in the 1980s, story-wise. Because I guess the whole thing with me is, like, three things bother. I did not have a bad time, but the pacing made me bored. I was very bored. Because, they're in this world where you can put a brain into a robot's body, but nobody has GPS. Not a single person has GPS, just like the 80s would have been. The second thing is, the final boss is an iron spider. Ironically, the title of this episode. I didn't even think that through. I don't know where this iron spider came from. Like, why did we not see this earlier in the show, I guess? Or the movie, and so on and so forth. But I just felt like my third problem, again, is the pacing, because I'm like, there's really not a lot going on here. There's little bursts of action every once in a while, but it's mostly like a spy thriller kind of thing still, with a robot body. So at the end of the day, it's middle of the road for me. I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to say everyone should rush out and see it unless you love the original.
I mean, I think the best way to say it's extremely mediocre. This movie is just, it's not going to thrill the people that love the source material, and it's not going to thrill the people that even just kind of casually like to go watch movies. You're not going to necessarily feel like you wasted your money, but you might be a little peeved if you paid like $22 for like the 3D IMAX experience or whatever it was playing in.
I did.
Oh no. I was able to get like a matinee price for like $8 or something like that. So I felt a little better with that price. So the coolest part about the original movie, the original anime that I believe came out in '95, is the visuals is what really sticks with you after time. I saw this when I was a bit younger, like, back when anime was everything to me back when I was a kid. And that stuff really sticks with you. There's kind of just crazy over-the-top violence, with kind of like robots getting dismantled and destroyed, stuff that looks like blood that isn't blood, stuff that is blood with human characters. You have like this crazy kind of cyberpunk world that kind of has a little bit more hardware in it. Like, this movie didn't really have a whole lot of hardware. It felt like everything felt neat and polished. Back in '95 when they made it, they had stuff that they could kind of like put on, kind of like cool headsets and things like that. There was kind of more tech in it, more like mechs and stuff. Like that spider tank at the very end, like, that is the coolest part about Ghost in the Shell, at least to me, is these like spider tank things. Like, if you go on to kind of watch the anime series that they developed later on, I think there's a couple different animated series, but I'm not 100% sure. But those are a little bit more prominent in those. And those spider tanks are like so rad. Some of them are AI and they have like personalities and stuff like that. And some of them you can actually get in and like pilot them. So those spider tanks are really, really cool. So I was kind of mad that we only got one at the very end. I was kind of hoping for more. Yeah, and the anime just has lots of really awesome style in it. And they actually tried to one-to-one recreate scenes from the anime in real life, and it's just not as impressive. Like that scene where she's invisible fighting that guy in the really shallow water almost looks identical to how it looks in the anime, but it's just not as impressive because you just don't have the flourish and the excitement and the style when it's not in that animated drawn finesse. So you just kind of lose all of that, the fun visuals when you go that way. And then Scarlett Johansson's character was just boring. She kind of played this character who had her memories kind of rewritten, so she never really had a strong personality, so you never really cared about her through the whole movie. And the biggest thing I wanted to hit on is I can't decide if it's insanely clever or the biggest kick in the nuts that you make that brain for Scarlett Johansson's like shell actually come from an Asian person, because like the biggest controversy in this movie was that it was whitewashing it, but then the actual character that the brain came from was supposed to be an Asian actress. So it's just like they never really hit on like why they put her in a white shell and why she wanted to stick in it. You know, it seemed like, hey, if your brain could just be transferred, maybe put me in a shell that kind of looks more like my original self. So I don't know if that was just the biggest insult ever, just like, hey, guess what? You know, I know you guys were mad out there that we didn't hire an Asian actress, so we're just going to say that the brain was indeed from an Asian actress. So she's Asian on the inside. Trust us, she's Asian on the inside. So, or I can't tell if it was just really clever that or they're just like, oh, crap, well, they're going to cast a white actress, Scarlett Johansson, because it's the only way this movie's going to get made in the U.S. So let's just go ahead and write a clever way to maybe kind of stick it to the studio that, oh, maybe it should have been an Asian person. So I don't know which way it's supposed to go. I don't know if I'm supposed to be hate it more or love it more. I don't know, but I think Scarlett Johansson was kind of either wasted in the role or they just should have made that character more interesting, because you got a little bit more human performance from Bato, the guy with the robot eyes. He was more fleshed out and he had more emotional connection to like these street dogs and stuff like that. So you cared a little bit more about him. You never really cared about Scarlett Johansson's character, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it felt like it was written like that because it was too conveniently like a lot of pieces tied to that. But, I mean, they didn't touch on that either. Like, why? I hate that they kept saying, well, this is your ghost. No, it's not really your ghost. Like, it's your brain in a robot. But they kept calling them ghosts and shells. I'm like, I get it. They said the name of the movie like 8 times. And it's only like now, 20 minutes in.
Yeah, and now I'm not 100% sure because it has been a while since I've seen any Ghost in the Shell properties before this. But I believe the original source material wasn't tied to brains. I don't think so. Because at least I remember when I watched the animated series, like the Major died like all the time. Like her body got smashed up and blown up and all the time. And she would just like re-upload to like a new shell or something. I'm not 100% sure if that's true. So I don't know if that brain thing was even necessary. But I like the bad guy. I thought he was kind of cool. They did an interesting like voice modulation on him where he kind of sounded like a speak and spell.
So
kind of.
You mean the failed experiment, not the actual bad guy?
No. The failed experiment. Yeah, he was kind of cool, and I actually did kind of care about him a little bit because he did seem like a character like that was tormented and just trying to get revenge and but like his other motivation of being like ascended into the internet or something was kind of weird. I didn't really understand that. He kind of seemed to have hated what he became. So I kind of expected maybe his character would just kind of want to kill everybody, then kill himself, not just like boot himself to the internet. So I don't know. Very mediocre movie. I hope they don't make a sequel. I don't think they're going to because I think box office wise it's not doing very well up against like Baby Boss.
The Boss
and stuff
Baby
like that.
is beating it right now. Like I don't.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't just an overall mess because I think there's a lot of awesome anime stories out there that could use the summer box office treatment, but I hope they do a better job next time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there was a sequel film. I think Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence. I think it was called. I remember always seeing it, but I've never watched it. Like to me. It doesn't need a sequel unless like it's action packed because this is so like it was so in between action wise. Like visually it looked great. Sure, it's all style, no substance whatsoever. If I was to say it.
Even from a story point of view, I guess the last thing I will say is literally the Major doesn't grow at all as a character. Like the first time we see her, she's jumping off of a building to like kill a bunch of people in like some sort of police operation, and at the very end of the movie she's doing the exact same thing. Like she didn't arc as a character at all, so like I don't even understand what's going on with her. So yeah, very mediocre. I wouldn't recommend this movie. I think if you could like maybe catch it for free, like streaming for something, you know, if you're already paying for like Netflix or Amazon, you know, maybe pop it on, but yeah,
it's I had more fun at Power Rangers. If I was to compare 2 movies that are out right now, I had a much better time at Power Rangers. This one it takes itself too seriously.
Yeah, it's a sad state of the world we're in when the Power Rangers reboot does better than the Ghost in the Shell remake.
So I mean, I wouldn't recommend Ghost in the Shell to anybody. I'm still trying to remember parts of it. It's like I went to the bathroom, and that's my tell. Did I go to the
Are you
bathroom?
telling me you don't remember the awesome hacking scene where she hacks the geisha bot and it's like she's in a dream? Because that's how robots work, right?
I will tell you what. Well, I mean, it could in this future, Mike. It could in this future because you got unauthorized deep dives or something like that. But I do remember there were a couple jump scares that might have gotten me. I think, but not a whole, not a huge jump scare, but they did throw the jump scares in there at you to do stuff. So, yeah, I'm with you. Rental, if you really have to see it, Redbox it. Don't pay full price to own it. This doesn't belong on your shelf. So,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So that's the news for this week, Mike. We made it little bit of a longer show, but you got a mini spoiler cast from us. So. I think it was a good time. So if people want to find out what else you're doing, Mike, maybe how you're getting these cheap matinee price tickets, where can they find that at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if the vile bastard wants to come forward that destroyed your drone, where can he reach out to you?
Oh, please.
Or she. It could have been a woman.
It could have.
I'm not trying to be sexist here. Anyone can be an asshole.
Anyone can be an asshole. You are correct. So you can find me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. If I get another one, I'll keep you guys posted. Just kind of, I'm just too bummed. It's still too close to home. I'm I don't want to rush out and get a new one because I'm worried. So there's that, and then you can find read me on Comic UI or with some other podcasts, Film Side Chats. It is now April. This is C2E2 month, Mike. If people have anything they want me to do or anyone they want me to go talk to or interview, let me know ahead of time. I'm really excited to reach out and just have a good time there. So if anyone's going there, let me know as well because it's getting close. And I found out how much Stan Lee autographs were, Mike. Guess how much a Stan Lee John Hancock is?
I'm going to assume it's more than I think it is.
Well, what do you think it is?
Let's go ahead and say $20.
$100 a pop for that
Woo!
old man's
Man.
signature. So I was going to go get my Inhumans book signed. But I don't think I'm going to anymore. So, hopefully it'll show up. So anyways, people want to find us Superhero Slate. They made it this far. Where can they find us at, Mike? What are the usual locations, if you will?
Well, they can find us at superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host the show. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can follow us on Instagram. And if you want to pick up a Superhero Slate shirt, you can pick that up at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to it. Maybe dropping us a like or a comment. We love interacting with you guys out there. And if you're a super fan of the show, just share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. That is it, Chris. We are done.
We are done. We made it. Yay. And also, fun fact, I was doing this week. If you have the new 10.3 iOS, you can send our podcast in messages to someone else, and they can just listen to it in their message app. So,
Ooh, that is the best way to be a super fan.
That is, yeah, I thought that was really cool. So look for changes in that podcast stuff, and I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Oh man, you're so depressed. I gotta hear about it.